Hello and welcome to another episode of Nolo Time. My name is Obed Velez, and with me is the most interesting man in the world, Joel Young.
What's good, no load time? Obed, good to be with you, man.
Good to see you, sir. How you doing?
Oh, I'm doing great, doing great. This we've got a nice we are some of the topics are so nice we were gonna talk about them twice, but it's okay. we
So,
we were on this, we were preparing show notes for the show, and we were looking them over, and Obed and I were like beat for beat on the same wavelength. So you know this is gonna be a good show.
it's out, dude. I've had such a busy week that I saw some of the notes that you put in, right, and then I posted the same notes. I posted the same notes today because I'm out of it. I'm real tired. I can't wait. We have a long weekend coming up, and I am very
Oh
much
yeah.
looking forward to it. Although, mowing the lawn and cleaning the fence await me, but I'll make it work. I got plenty of time. I can use the exercise. Why not? So,
It's good attitude. Good attitude. And you do it on your own
and
time. So
I
that's
do
what's
it on my own time exactly, unless it rains, right? Florida
yeah,
3 p.m.
that's also
showers or
true.
whatever.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, doing great. Other than just being really tired. So
That's simply fair, man. Well, I'll just really quickly just give a brief rundown. This weekend for me, you guys probably saw it on the channel. Was at Tampa Bay Comic Book Convention. I think Tampa Bay Comic Convention, excuse me. Um, and obviously in Tampa, Florida, and was able to go out there, just hang out, see what they had to offer specifically on Saturday. If you remember last year, I was able to go all days of the week. This year, scheduling permitting, was only able to go one day, and for the one day I was there, I did have a good time. It's, as I've said before, one of the more chill conventions, and I'm not saying that the other ones are chaotic. They're just, some of them are so busy that it can be a bit overwhelming, but with the layout of this convention, it's very programmed that you are able to do, for the most part, everything you want to do and have plenty of time to do it. In one day, I got to do the show floor, the experiences, and go to every single one of the panels I wanted to. And like that just shows you, like, you don't get that at every convention if you've ever been to any of these
right,
bigger ones.
yeah.
And that's a good thing. But they are growing, Obed. I went to Billy D. Williams, which, God bless him, he is up there in age, man.
He's like 84, right?
That guy is,
All right,
yes,
I'm
he
gonna
is
go
up
check.
there.
Hold on.
He played a game of Sabacc with a kid live, which was pretty cool. Um, and then like had, yeah, he had just a good time, just kind of just answering mostly just Q&A, and
It's
that's kind of how they did all the
87,
panels.
bro.
87. Yeah, I could see that. I could see
Yeah,
that. Yeah, seeing him there, I was like, this is incredible. So it's just like great just to see a legend at that point. Like, what you
yeah,
get
yeah,
is what you get out of the commentary. You're just glad that you saw the legend in person.
yeah. Right.
But then I also got to do the Charlie Cox and Vincent D'Onofrio, and then the last one I did was the Elijah Wood Andy Serkis panel, which was pretty cool. And then between, got to do the show floor, some of the outside stuff. There was a NASA experience they had again. Jumped in one of the rooms for the voice actress. Forgive me, I'm forgetting her name. That plays Jubilee in the original X-Men
Okay.
animated series. And so like, that was just really just hang out that way for most of the day. Now, like I was saying before about Good Problem, for Daredevil and for Vincent D'Onofrio and Charlie Cox, the Daredevil panel they had, they got to capacity very quickly. I was literally the last person that they got seated, literally the last person that got seated in the room for that, and they turned away, who knows, maybe 1,000 people, just
Oh,
telling them, sorry, you can't get in. That was not the thing the year before. The year before, you could sit in the back of the room, just hang out and chill, and like there's plenty of space. That was not the case this year. They actually turned people away. And then the same thing with the Elijah Wood Andy Circus. I was there half an hour early. I said, that's plenty of time. That will be fine. And look, everything looked good. Oh my goodness. I again was in the last group. I wasn't the last person, but in the last group of people being seated. And I was sitting in the back of the room. If you look at any of the videos that I posted, and I'm like, what is going on here? This is absolutely incredible to see how much the demand for this convention has grown. And I think it's not just because of the talent. And yes, they've done well with adding in more talent, but clearly just in general, there is a love for fandom like there hasn't been in a while, where
Yeah.
people are wanting to go out to these events and celebrate the things that they
It's a
love
good
in a
location
safe
too, right?
environment that brings them together. Yeah, it's a beautiful
Yeah.
location too.
So yeah,
So good for them. I hope to go back again next year. Yeah, it was a great time for sure.
that's awesome. That's awesome. And yeah, yeah. I mean, it's central. Like people from Miami may go. People from
Right.
Central Florida would go down for sure. And it's pretty central. And they have facilities, so that's great. That's good. Good
Yeah.
to hear. Good to hear. Like it seems like all the like MegaCon's already up there in
Oh,
like popularity, right? That thing
yeah,
exploded, dude. And then we've seen like the smaller ones now kind of like catching up. So
yeah,
that's good to see. That's good to see, and definitely bodes well for the community. So yeah, that's
for
great.
sure.
Yeah, I mean it's high interest. Whether you disagree or agree, or you're here and there, right? Or whether you like it, or you're old school like Star Wars, like we talk about, right? If
Yeah,
whether you're old school or you like the new stuff, right? You're welcome to like whatever. It's great. It's great that you like it. So it's a good opportunity just to go in and um, I guess and mingle with some of the other fans, and it's a place that everyone's welcome, like this podcast, right? Everyone's welcome.
right.
So and that's what's great about it. And we've been to other like smaller events like CO Taku, and hopefully we can go to
Yeah,
the big CO next year.
yeah,
So it's great. Like it's a great sense of community, and I'm happy that these things are really like catching up here in Florida. So that's
for
great.
sure, for
That's
sure.
awesome,
It's
man.
huge.
Yeah, that's cool. Not much on my part, man. I've been, like I said, very, very busy. I actually started a new game on Elden Ring,
Wow,
a new game like from
start
scratch,
fresh.
start
Wow,
fresh, dude. And my daughter is like, I let her pick the class, and I go, all right. So these are the classes, right? I can get the guy with the armor, or I can do the lighter armor, I can do the two swords, I can do the magic guy, right? And he's like, no, I want you to be like the naked one. It's like, so she made me
wow. Okay,
start. She made me start as a wretch, dude.
nothing,
Nothing, no armor, just a club,
nothing.
and that's it. And luck and good luck.
She's
So
like, Dad, I want to see if you could really make it like this.
right, that's exactly what she said. Yeah, it's like I want to see how far you can get
Yeah,
with like this thing, and I'm doing okay. Like I'm doing okay. So I already got armor, so I'm not naked anymore.
oh, I'm sure.
I already
Yeah,
got some armor. Got a good
that's probably
weapon.
top of your thing.
Yeah, I got a good weapon. It's crazy, dude, because my first run through, or my first playthrough, everyone was dropping stuff. Like all those enemies were dropping like bronze shields and their armors and whatnot. And this run, man, it's like, nah, we don't want to give you nothing. So I have to go. I was like, I need a shield. Oh, I remember there's a shield in this place. Oh yeah, there's these big dogs here. So I just gotta, you know, play careful, and got the good shield, and then found a guy who's like, oh yeah, that's right, I forgot about these random guys that got a decent armor, and just by luck, like the first one that I got dropped the armor. I was like, okay, great, so I'm good. Let's go grab the weapon that I want to use, and then we'll go level up. And yeah, I mean, I'm like starting, so I just made it to like the first or the second, I guess, legacy dungeon. After the first, well, let's leave it here. I beat the first boss that most people say, "Oh, this is too hard." So I got past that, and I left it there. So I'll play a little bit over the weekend. Like we said, I have tons of time off. I plan to more than likely tomorrow actually go back into the DLC. So fire up the old save, or my original save, and go back into the DLC just to do some more exploring, and then we'll keep going around. But yeah, like I mentioned last time, I'm looking forward um, to Dragon Ball Sparking Zero, and then there's a few things that happened this week. We'll talk about it. So
For sure.
yeah, cool.
I was gonna say, before we go forward into topics, and you and I were just talking about before the air, quick PSA for everybody. We have made some adjustments for our live chat. We have some new guidelines technically that are in there, which are really cool. Just to kind of encourage people to participate. We want you to participate in it. We want you to ask questions. We want you to say, yeah, I love this, or no, I'm not into this, or that kind of thing. We ask that you keep it civil, respectful, because we're gonna grow. We're gonna have more people on this as we grow on, and we don't want people to start attacking each other or saying anything that's gonna be divisive in that way. It's a place, fandom should be a place of celebrating what we love. And that's what we want to do on the show, and what we don't like, we call it out like we see it as well in that kind of way, and that's okay. That's a good
Definitely.
thing. So those guidelines have been put on there. Obed and I, we're doing our best to do the same thing here. There's times that we agree, there's times we disagree, but we do it respectfully, and that's what we want to do as fans. And so we encourage the same way we do it, you guys do it, and yeah, the same thing goes for. And I know that YouTube has its own policies and things as well, but we're just trying our best to just keep the show fun and celebratory of these things, and just really try to unite the fandom at the end of the day on that stuff. But yeah, I just thought we'd do a quick PSA before we dive deep into all the real interesting topics we got today, for sure.
We're gonna start with one that shouldn't be too divisive. Kathleen
Yeah.
Kennedy.
Right? Yeah, everyone loves this person.
All right.
rough.
So I still stand by my prediction, Joe.
Yeah.
That okay. So it's been reported by
Jeff Snyder.
by Jeff Snyder that Kathleen Kennedy would remain head of Lucasfilm up until Q2 of 2025. So that is March of next year.
Right.
So I think that if
At
least, right, at least, rumor, that's still a rumor. Her contract, I think, expires next month. I'm almost certain because it's the end of the fiscal year for Disney, and that was my prediction. Come October, more than likely it's gonna happen. It's saying that the reason that she's staying on for a little bit longer is because there's other projects in the pipeline. People can take over. I don't think that her leaving will have much impact. If anything, could potentially be positive impact to some of these projects. I again, and I've said it before, and I said it again, right? And I'll say it again. I admire her career. Her career is very, very illustrious, and she gave us and I don't want to say she gave us, right, but her involvement in some of the projects that shaped fandom as a whole, right, shaped my life for sure, right.
Yeah.
She's been involved with those, and I cannot stress enough how important she's been to the industry. Unfortunately, she was not the correct fit for Star Wars. And, I thank her for what she's done in the industry. And I thank her for giving us a ton of Star Wars, whether it be good or bad or okay or whatever. But it's time to go. It's time to go. I think it's time to go. We need a new set of a fresh new set of hands for Star Wars. Like, we need it. And I know that they're still making money, but there's problems. There's glaring issues right now. And we'll go back and we'll talk. We'll come back to Disney in a few after we talk about something else that came out this week. But it's time for them to refocus. And the only way that I can see Lucasfilm refocusing would be with her not being there. And it's unfortunate. It is an unfortunate thing to say, but I think it's just a harsh truth. This comes in that this happened earlier this week, or this rumor started circling earlier this week, and just today I saw rumors that the Taika Waititi movie is not happening, and that they have cut off Leslie Hetland from everything. I think that Taika Waititi movie would have been interesting. I think cutting ties with Headland is the right choice. But that's where that is, Joe. What the heck is happening?
I believe this source. First of all, Jeff Snyder this is the exact same guy that broke the story just a week ago or 2 weeks ago around the Bao de Mayo information. And he also was the same person that reported on Robert Downey Jr. coming on to play Doom. He retracted and said, "Hey, this is not going to happen," according to people I talked to. And then, well, he was actually right when I'm sitting in Hall H and go, "Oh my gosh, he was right." So you can check the track record. We wouldn't talk about on the show if it was from certain websites that Obed and I know that are a little too cosmic-y and not very accurate. You can read between the lines. But there's certain sources, but this one I actually believe to be true. You have said this. You had said this from the Chapek days. We can run down thing where you were like, "Yo, she's gonna outlive Chapek," and well, history tells us that is absolutely true. How long does she outlive it? You and I have been questioning this for a while. On a personal basis, I think I was in denial when the Skywalker trilogy was continuing between 7 to 9 because I kept thinking it's Kathleen Kennedy. It can't be that bad. There's things that are going to be done that it's going to absolutely put Star Wars back to where it should be. She's the right person. They'll figure it out. There's probably other factors, whatever. But as time has gone on and I look back, and that's the great thing about when you can step back and time goes on and you can reflect properly, you can analyze, well, this person made these decisions that led to this, that led to that led to the other. And even if they maybe were not the exact reason why all of these things happened, like, let's be real, J.J. Abrams had a part to play in some of this stuff. Ryan Johnson had a part to play in some of this stuff. Pablo Hidalgo had a part to play in some of this stuff. There's a lot of people. Dave Filoni probably had a part to play in some of this stuff. I mean, look, people are like, don't talk about Dave. We love him.
Being honest, yeah.
There's multiple people.
There's shared responsibility in this thing. Right, yeah.
For sure. This is not me defending her. This is me actually saying that it's on her because she captained the ship. And at the end of the day, anything that happened that was problematic was on her watch.
Yep.
She either gave it the stamp of approval or she vetoed it.
Right.
And the things that she approved are the things that were so glaring and so problematic at times. Not everything. You and I have had our conversation a long time about this. You can be mad at her for the Acolyte, but then you can't go, oh, but the Mandalorian isn't her. No, she's the president of Lucasfilm. She let the Mandalorian happen.
She was there on those Mandalorian like roundtable things that they did. Yeah.
Absolutely. Same thing for the beloved Andor. Let's be real. She was the president. She greenlit that thing. She let them cook and clearly made the right decisions there. The last season of Clone Wars, those final episodes, these things, like, she's made good decisions as well. I think sometimes the negative just is so glaring and clearly outweighs the positive, in my personal opinion. And you had said it perfectly when you said, thank you for what you have contributed to fandom, but it's time to step aside. It's time to step down and let somebody else do another job. So I can only hope that's the case. But the main point about this is set people's expectations. It may be a while before we see her leave, because if this source that I 100% believe, this guy putting this out there, it is a very strong possibility. It may not be till end of 2025 that she's actually saying, "Yo, I'm gone." We will see. Time will tell. It's interesting.
Right. Well, I mean, based on some other YouTubers, she's been gone since like 2020.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
So they cut off her email like 6 months ago or something?
Yeah, she's a ghost right now. She's a force ghost.
Exactly. Yeah. So,
but can I add one more thing?
Yeah,
I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
One other thing I also want to add though is, like, you were just talking about like the Leslie Headland, being removed, and we talked last week about the Acolyte being canceled. To me, those are also signs, and we talked about this a little bit before too during some of the Acolyte stuff. How I had heard from another person in the face saying, hey, like, I know people at Disney that are telling me, like, they know that there's problems with Star Wars, and they fully understand that things aren't right. And in spite of that, they allowed these things to continue on because, like, we know it's not right, but we're going to still keep letting this happen, and maybe things will turn around. And I think they finally, like, Kathleen Kennedy's the one who's also saying, Leslie, you're out. Some of these, they act like you're done. Maybe the roost is coming to crow. Maybe she is starting to have a aha moment. There's other projects that are in development. There are projects like Taika Waititi's project that sounds like it's been deaded. I'm not saying that there's a redemption around the corner for her. I still think it's time. But at the end of the day, don't be surprised if the tune starts to change a lot while she's still in the captain's chair, because I think it already is starting to happen. There's signs of it.
She may do it just to salvage what's I don't think she can leave and she'll be fine.
Oh yeah,
like that's not like that. That's not the
no.
That's not the problem here. The problem here is that based on rumors that we talked about before, right? She wants to leave in a good note. She wants to leave with a W, and maybe that W is, say, let's win the fans back or something like that, right? And that could be it, right? Because or maybe at least leave with some hype, like they give us like Force Awakens 2 or something. and
the Rey movie could very well be that's what she's pinning her hat on.
Right. But then goes back to the director of the movie.
Yeah.
Just again, people talk too much. And like, what? I don't know why they keep doing these shows, because they know, bro. They know how Star Wars fans are, and they keep talking, dude. It's like, hey, it's fine if you want to say, hey, so yeah, I was picked, but we want to make a Star Wars movie that that all fans can embrace, all both OG fans and prequel fans and the newer fans that started with Rey. So we want to build something, and we want to make something that everyone can come together and embrace as fans. But then no, they start talking. It's like, it's about time that a woman took charge. Don't. Why? Why are you doing this? Why?
We understand, like we said before, we know that, like, yes, politics and these things always exist in Star Wars.
Yeah.
But it was always done in a very subtle, like, just a part of the narrative. It wasn't like trying, like, George wasn't trying to preach. He wasn't trying to preach to us about taxes.
But the message was there.
Were
Yeah.
there.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So we were on the same wavelength. You know what I mean? Like, he's not trying to, like, let me preach to you about capitalism. He's not trying to do that stuff. But it was there, like you said. So, there's a right way to go about it. I don't know that any of these guys, seems like the check marks were the priority and the story was clearly secondary. And so, they miss opportunities.
I don't know. It's like every time that someone's involved with a Star Wars project, it's like, hey, so you're doing a new Star Wars thing. What are you gonna do? Oh, we're gonna troll the fans and we're gonna make people uncomfortable, bro. Why? Why are you talking? Why are you even talking, dude?
The South Park thing.
It's like, yeah, right. The South Park.
You can look it up. It sounds like a joke. But
it's so accurate.
Funny.
It's so accurate. It's so accurate that it's so accurate that the way that South Park did it is really funny, but it's also the sad truth of the state of Star Wars.
Yeah.
Right. And
the Force is female and Star Wars is gay and all these.
I know.
You're like, hold on a second. You're just preaching a point.
It was like the same.
You're not just making the content,
right? And it was like there was a reason why Disney took Rachel Zegler off of the marketing stops for Snow White, because she talked too much.
Totally.
And it is what it is, right? It's like you don't see, like, James Gunn. James Gunn is the best example, right? How to do it right.
Example.
It's the best example of how to do it right. It's like, hey, James Gunn, you're in DC now. What are you going to do? Piss off the fans? No. I was like, hey, we're going to rebuild this thing and we're going to make it where fans can be proud of being DC fans again. Bro, is that so hard?
And step away and make a movie.
Right. And make a movie and then give your creators the liberty that and the freedom that they need to be able to build these projects, right? Is that so hard? No. right?
know.
You can just not say nothing, dude. And
Most movies they don't make those kinds of public statements. You don't see it's for some reason when it comes to Star Wars, I don't know, they are just poking at the bear every time the different creatives are being brought in. That just makes no sense. It's not that hard, guys.
yeah, exactly.
You should have PR training if you work in Disney. I thought that was a thing. I don't know, man.
Right. Well,
I don't know.
like the PR should tell you is like, don't talk about this thing. Like, especially
We know a little bit about
and that's what
marketing.
yeah, and again, the thing that irks me,
Come
the
on.
thing that irks me is like they know how Star Wars fans are, and they every chance they get, bro, it's like why are you just talking nonsense instead of just trying to bring the fandom together? You just like pushing us away, and
Right.
I don't know. Whatever.
And
I
look,
didn't watch The Acolyte. I'm not gonna watch it, but I am excited for Scott and Crew. So we'll see.
Look, but we just had a whole discussion about things that we didn't like and didn't appreciate about what's happened with Star Wars. We never once used vulgar language. We never attacked somebody like on a personal basis. Talk about that's us fans were doing. Don't go out of here watching a video of ours and then go flood some.
But I can still call. I can still call
Right,
Mike Zero like.
Right, go find, I don't know, Leslie Headland's Instagram and then flood her with these like, don't do that. That doesn't change anything. That just makes you look like a sad human.
Right, it just makes it worse, right? And there's a way to approach this, right? And the way to approach it is objectively. And a lot of people talk trash about theory, and I think that for the most part, guy's on point.
I think he really cares about Star Wars, clearly.
Exactly.
And I don't watch everything he does. But from what I do see, I've never seen him go like how we just said, you guys need to go out there and you need to go flood the comments with this and this.
He's the opposite. Yeah.
I'm sure they do it. There are people who follow us that do things that we don't agree with, but we're never going to tell you to go and do these things because that's just not who we are.
No, and it's the same thing with gaming, right? I was like, oh, they made MJ ugly in the new Spider-Man. And,
right.
And now that we have some context as to some of the company involved and all that, I'm not gonna get into it today. That could be a Patreon episode, Joe. How's that?
Totally. Oh yeah,
we're probably talk about that company, and talk about what's going on with at least Western gaming. So we'll talk about that.
Yeah.
But it's the same thing with gaming, right? You don't like the character model, you don't have to go to the motion capture actress and go, hey, you're ugly and this thing's ugly and you look ugly in this thing. You don't have to do these things, bro.
No.
Like, why? There's no reason. There's absolutely no reason to just go and vote. Speak with your wallet. Talk with your wallet.
Yes.
Do what I did for The Acolyte. Don't watch it. I said I'm not going to watch it because I disagree with the creator. And look now. Hey, you know what? There you go. I'm
trying to find the statistic right now on the thing with The Acolyte, but you probably saw the same thing. That
the $600,000 a minute or whatever,
which also came from the same guy, Jeff Snyder. He put the exact thing. Like he's been on a roll recently.
Yep.
Cost $630,000
per minute
of screen time.
Yeah.
Was canceled due to low viewership, and there are no plans to remove the series from Disney Plus.
Insane, bro. Insane. $600,000 a minute.
I had someone text me a really interesting commentary from someone else talking about how Rings of Power got low reviews, but then it got a second season. You need to give things a chance for a second season, this whatever. And and it was an interesting commentary. But I said, those are two very different levels of content. Rings of Power, I can look at that and I can tell they spent money trying to make that show.
They're hour-long episodes. And they spend the money. you can tell
between CGI, makeup,
You can disagree with casting choices. You can disagree with the plot, but
story. But you could tell they spent money.
But they spend the money, dude. Yeah.
This I don't know where that money went. Someone got robbed, Obed. That is, where
This
did that
looks like
money go
it
to?
was filmed at like Galaxy's Edge.
Dude,
Yeah.
I don't understand.
Yeah, man. It's crazy. I don't know
Yeah.
where that money went, and that's probably why. Well, I mean, I guess we'll wait and see what happens with Kathleen
What a
Kennedy.
great first topic.
Yeah, great second topic, Joe. Star Wars Outlaws reviews are in. It is
Woo!
sitting at a 77 on Metacritic, getting mostly positive reviews and a few mixed reviews. I've seen that the complaint seems to be that it's buggy and the stealth sequences become too tedious and repetitive. But I have heard mostly good things about it. I'm not gonna pay full price for this game. This is a game that's gonna
Yeah.
benefit long run because they're probably gonna fix these bugs that they're having right now. So maybe waiting it out, and playing this game later, and in a couple of months, maybe the way to go. Right? Which again, unfortunate when it comes to like Jedi Survivors. It's a perfect example where if you played the game early, it was really buggy and had a lot of performance issues. So that game also benefited from people just waiting it out, playing the game 3-4 months after release, where the game actually is not as buggy and it runs better. At least on PS5. I know that you can brute force it on PC, but even on PC, it was kind of flaky, even on a high end PC, running it at full specs. But yeah, Joe. Yeah, it looks like for real. This would be a Black Friday deal kind of thing, kind of like what I did with Guardians of the Galaxy, which again, that game was pretty good. I really
Right.
really enjoyed that game. So yeah, I'm gonna pass on this one for now, and we'll acquire at a later date when it's either on sale or uh, they may release a Game of the Year edition or something with like all the DLC for less money, and that's probably the way to go because at that point, all those bugs, or at least most of them, are going to be fixed. You can't really fix all the bugs in a modern game, right? It's virtually impossible. So, but yeah, what do you think?
I feel very sad to see how this game clearly is, you know, not perfect. Not that you expect to be perfect, but that it is flawed to the level that it is. Like you said, most of the reviews are saying that it's good. That
Yeah.
it's if you're talking Gen Z, you would say mid. It's not a bad game, but don't expect a great game. But at the same extent, in that, I think they probably were banking on the fact that Star Wars fans will carry this, and because it has the name on it, will make money. And that's something that Star Wars fans have been very vocal about. Like, we're not just a cash cow. Don't just try and take our money. Like, give us quality over the quantity. And so, I think, like you just said about waiting, I think a lot of fans, based on the comments that I'm seeing from all over different places, was like, well, I can't wait for this to be 1999. People are like, I'm gonna play it. That's how most people are coming across. But they're like, well, I'm gonna play it when it's discounted. Like, catch me later when it's on sale. And I think that that's gonna clearly affect it at launch. And I feel bad for the developers and the people working on it because obviously that affects them. But at the same extent, like that's a part of the business. Like if you don't deliver a product that hits certain bars, then you're gonna have these kinds of mixed results. So yeah, I was looking forward to this game. I'm a big Assassin's Creed guy. I think Ubisoft tried to bring some of that flavor to Star Wars with this game, and I was excited about that. And been a project worked on for a while. From Comic Con 2023, I was at the some of the reveal
Yeah.
events. So it's been over a year now that I've been watching this project very closely. And we had a lot of excitement around it, but clearly it's not exactly where it needs to be. So I can only hope that, like you said, they're able to put enough patches over some time to get to be fully playable to where it should be, and not perfect, but just where it needs to be, and then I can revisit it and buy it when it's on sale.
Yeah, and yeah, it's unfortunate. So and again, we are being realists because a few months ago when the gameplay reveal came out, we said it looked good, and then a lot of people came out into a video to burn us up. It's like, I thought you guys were joking. It's like, the game looks good. Problem, it does have problems, right? Like any modern game, yeah. It got mid reviews, and that's fine, right? Not every game can be great, but I think that at this point it wasn't a case of like they overpromised and underdelivered, because they delivered on what they showed. The problem is that delivery was a little bit cold. Yeah, and it's fine. What it's not. We're not gonna come here and try and chill it out and defend it. If it's mid, it's mid, and it's what it is. So
that's what it is.
Yep. All right. The reason I said I was going to bring back Disney again is because we have a trailer for Sonic the Hedgehog 3. That's why this episode is called Gotta Go Fast. All right. I love it. I love it. I love it. This to me, like, these movies have been unexpected fun for me. I didn't know if this was going to work out, and I was a little bit hesitant, but it worked. So and then I think that they did a great job with the third one, at least from what we've seen on the trailer. Looks real good. Looks fun. I do think that they didn't show us a lot. It seems like half of the plot is missing, and we'll find out later. I got predictions. I don't want to go into spoilers in case you guys haven't played Sonic Adventure 2. So I'm going to leave it at that for now. But the reason I was talking about Disney, Joel, this comes out the same day as Mufasa.
I know. I saw that December 20th.
Yeah.
Like literally Christmas.
It's Mufasa's going to get destroyed, bro.
I'm like, there's no way. There's no way.
Mufasa's going to get destroyed.
When you put the Lion King, they're like, oh, it made $1 billion, all this stuff. Yeah, they're definitely going to make it on the sequel. I'm sorry. I think a rude awakening is about to happen.
Will they move Mufasa to January, where movies go to die?
No, they can't. They have to have that movie at the end of the year, right? Like, it has to be a 2024 release, right?
Well, they need a Christmas movie.
Yeah. Can
they push it to
Moana's November. Moana's November.
Yeah. That's right. I was gonna say, is there a Thanksgiving movie? Yeah. Okay.
You don't want to go against Wicked and Gladiator.
Yeah.
That's
man,
too much there already.
Oh,
Moana's beginning of November. Yeah, so they have to do. To me, what they really could have done is they could have done it sooner. They could have put it in October, but or have Moana in October and had Mufasa beginning of November.
They don't have an October movie, right? Disney?
Not that I'm aware of.
Yeah, last year they had Haunted Mansion.
Are you afraid of Kraven the Hunter and Venom? Like those are not movies you should be scared of. So that would have been the move, but I digress.
Dude, that's man. That is gonna be an interesting box office weekend.
Yeah, I'm gonna watch it very closely.
Yeah.
Box Office Mojo on refresh on
Sunday. Yeah.
Yep. Very closely.
Because I think Mufasa's gonna flop hard, man.
I don't know about a hard flop, but it's definitely gonna be
underperform.
You might be right.
Underperform.
I think worldwide is why I think it makes money.
There's zero interest for that movie. That should have been a Disney Plus movie.
Oh yeah, or a series even.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, that should have been. That's the movie that you sent to Disney Plus, and then you should have given us something else. But
which Moana was originally a Disney Plus thing, and then they said we're just gonna make this a movie.
Yeah, well, the thing is that they changed they changed their Disney Plus approach because they were losing money.
Right.
And they had to change the approach. It's like, oh no, Moana's big enough where we can actually get a ton of money, so let's go ahead and put it out there. But then Dude, I love The Lion King. I love The Lion King. I have zero interest in Mufasa. Zero. None.
Yeah, oh yeah. Well, I think again, you're the suits sat down and saw that movie, the Lion King John Favreau one, is I want to say it's top 20 of all
Oh, the
time.
movie made
I
a
wanna
ton of
say.
money. That movie made a ton of money.
I
Yeah.
I mean, I'm so happy for John Favreau. I didn't realize it entirely until I looked recently. I was like, I'm of all people, I'm happy for John Favreau, like that he has a movie like in that landscape. Like even if it's not the movie that you would expect it to be, like so cool for him that he's in that like Hollywood, recognition. But
The Lion King, yeah, is number 9 at $1.66 billion.
9. I thought it was in the 20. It's the
Yeah.
top 10. It's
Yeah.
top 10, not 10.
Yeah, man.
That's huge. So of course the suits are like, we're gonna make a sequel. This movie made a book. Even as divisive as those people said, I'm still gonna see it.
Look at Deadpool and Wolverine at 26.
Yeah, that's a record for sure. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
And there's still a chance. I think Inside Out 2 is extremely close. Disney.
It's at 10.
I want to say it's like 30 million difference or something.
Yeah, it's
between
at
that and
10,
the Warner year.
1.65 billion. So
Crazy.
like Disney had a good year this year with Deadpool,
Right.
Inside Out. They actually put something else earlier this year that did really good too, right? What was it?
I'm not sure I remember earlier this year what it was. Could have been.
Let's see. I'll look it up. But yeah, what do you think? First
First reactions of
first
Sonic.
reaction of Shadow, Keanu Reeves as Shadow.
Great. This trailer shows a lot, and I'm okay with that. I'm still gonna see this movie. Shadow looks beautiful. The tone of the movie is definitely shifted a little bit too. I
Yeah.
think yes, it still has its comedy. It's got Jim Carrey in it doing his thing and whatever, but there's something about it that feels like they've your Sonic has a different flavor that's coming with this movie.
It was Planet of the Apes. That's
That's
technically
not Disney
Disney.
though.
20th
Really?
Century Studios.
Oh,
Yeah.
wow! I didn't think. Yeah,
That was it. Yeah, that was the other one.
I thought that was Warner. That was 20th Century. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
That,
Disney.
I know.
low-key.
I know that there was another one that did well. So they had an okay.
Okay.
They had an okay year.
No, yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, man. Oh yeah. Going back to Sonic. Yeah, it looks like there's a little bit of shift in tone, and Shadow makes it a little bit edgier, right? But it still looks like lighthearted and fun. So it looks like the high stakes, and then I'm happy that they have Fat Robotnik now. So
Dude.
proper Robotnik. So.
Jim Carrey's allowed. Like, if another actor did that, dude, I was like, can they do this in 2024? But
isn't
this
it
is
cra-
hilarious.
Isn't it crazy that Jim Carrey was like retired, and like he said like Sonic's gonna be my last movie, and then Sonic 2 is gonna be my last movie, and then he came back for this one, dude. Like I'm telling you,
they made him actually feel like he feels alive again with cinema with this.
yeah. And well, the thing is that's what he seemed happy. Like even and I mentioned it back when the first one came out, and you saw the interviews. It's like, oh yeah, like the director was great. I just showed up and he said, yeah, do your thing, and he
Right.
didn't. It was like he was said like something as like it was like the best movie he has ever worked on or something. So like he was super happy. So
Honestly, Obit, and I'm not just saying this out of bias. I know everyone loves Ace Ventura and all stuff. This might be like this is in contention for one of his top performances, like
top
playing
characters.
this character.
Yeah.
Top characters. It's got to be in in range somewhere in there, because I've watched a lot of his things. He does Robotnik perfect.
he's great.
That if
Yeah.
someone else tries to do it in like 10 years from now, GG's, like because you're
He-
trying to implement,
He did that.
what
Do you
the
remember
last guy
that?
did.
He did the Robert Zemeckis Christmas Carol, right? The CG.
Yeah,
That
he
was
did.
yeah, man. Oh, man, I love Jim Carrey.
Crazy.
Jim Carrey's great. But yeah, there's I know that there's more stuff that they're not showing us. There was way more stuff that they're not showing us, and I'm really excited for this movie. And there's bits and pieces there of Sonic Adventure 2, and if you know you can see the there's stuff and I am very happy. I'm very excited, and I am very much looking forward to this movie. So, I kind of want to stay away from trailers,
I
but
know. I don't need any more. We're
yeah,
good.
but I'll I'll definitely watch the other trailers and then go watch the movie because yeah, it looks fun. So that's gonna be my Christmas movie. This and probably World of Rohirrim, as I said last week.
Yeah.
Gonna make
Oh
me
yeah.
go
Yeah.
out,
Yeah.
maybe go out in the cold December morning or a damp December morning, whatever we get this year. I don't know, global warming and all. Kind of unpredictable at this point. So, dude, it's just crazy. Like Florida Decembers are either like summer two or spring or spring junior or Alaska
Yeah.
summer.
Yeah. We don't know
So
what
we
we're gonna
don't know.
get.
Yeah, we don't know.
Usually, you have a better chance of being hot than cold, but you just don't know.
Yeah, you don't know. Um, but yeah, man, very much looking forward to it. Yeah, it's man, why Disney? Uh, Man, I'm certain that someone pitched this movie at Disney and Disney said no. And
You think?
I
You think Sonic was pitched at Disney, not Paramount?
I'm sure.
Wow.
I'm sure, and they passed on it. Something tells me that's kind of what happened. And you know why I know? Because of the freaking Chip and Dale movie, that Ugly Sonic was in that movie.
Oh, which was hilarious. Yeah. I didn't think of that. Wow. Well,
I think
there's something
I think
there.
this movie was pitched at Disney at some point. So, but I mean, going back to like Disney Paramount, you got to remember that back when during the console wars, the parent company of Paramount owned part of Sega at that point.
Mhm.
And then they partnered with Disney. Michael Eisner being that link that he was Paramount before going to Disney, and then Michael Eisner brought them into the parks over at Epcot, and that would have been the logical choice for Sonic, but you snooze you lose, man. And again, these guys are like, no, we just want to do Toy Story 48. We don't want to do Streets of Rage or Golden Axe or whatever, right? Yeah, sure. You. I don't
You
care.
do you.
All right. Nintendo. I had totally forgotten last week that there was going to be a Nintendo Direct this week. And there were a few things that I want to talk about. Mostly Capcom again.
Go for it.
Capcom giving the people what they want. So they come out and announce that there's going to be a Capcom Fighting Collection 2 that will include both Capcom versus SNK games, Capcom versus SNK Pro and Capcom versus SNK 2. SNK versus Capcom was actually released during EVO a few weeks ago. And I think that's on PC already. I can't remember if it's on console. But yeah, so it's going to have the two Capcom versus SNK games, both of the Power Stone games for Dreamcast. Plasma Sword, Project Justice, Street Fighter Alpha 3 Upper, and Capcom Fighting Jam, or Capcom Fighting Evolution, which is not a particularly great game, Joel. I had it on PS2. I actually sold that game because it wasn't good. But again, man, Capcom no, and I wonder what other collections they're working on. Like at this point, like are they going to do an Onimusha collection? Like are they going to renew the Jean Reno license for him to be back in Onimusha 3? And so, yeah, man, Capcom, they've given us everything. I think the only game that's trapped behind licensing hell is Tatsunoko versus Capcom. That game probably will not happen, or we'll see a re-release because of how those Tatsunoko licenses were handled in the West, as you know, compared to Japan, where Tatsunoko own all of these things, but over here, like a dozen different companies own different things, and it's probably going to be very very hard to achieve. But man, Capcom just bringing it, giving the people what they want, and I am so happy. Also, Konami's not too far behind, because they went ahead and released, like, Shadow Drop that same day, the Castlevania Dominus Collection, which is basically the DS games. So, Dawn of Sorrow, Order of Ecclesia, and what was the other one? I forgot. Portrait of Ruin. So those are the DS games, and yeah, they're out on the Switch. I believe they're on PS5 as well, and Xbox. Capcom Fighting Collection not on Xbox. Joe, what's going on, bro?
Wow.
Not on Xbox again. They didn't get the Marvel versus Capcom, and they're not getting this one. I don't know, man. So, funny story. My Marvel versus Capcom, I logged into Best Buy. It's like, oh, let me see what I have on pre-order right now, because I totally forgot. I had Marvel vs. Capcom. I don't know why I picked the Switch version. It's like, no, I don't want that. I want the PS4 version. So I had to cancel my order because I can't switch it. I had to cancel the pre-order, and then do a whole new pre-order for the PS4 version. It's like, yeah, I need a physical copy of this game, because Disney can come in one day. It's like, hey, licensing's over. You can't buy this game online anymore. So I just need it on disc. But yeah, man, classic games for the win. Honestly, a lot of cool stuff happening with the Switch. And I just wish that my prediction would have been correct. And we would have gotten a new console this year, but hey, we'll wait it out, I guess. Yeah, not too much craziness happening on this direct. There's Yakusaki Moami is coming out on the Switch, and that's basically it. There's a lot of indie games announced, and some of them look great, some of them look okay. You know, I'm not. You know how I feel about indie games. I think that that whole indie game mania that we had at a few years ago kind of died down. I think people realized that these games, for every 10 indie games, 2 were great and 8 were just there. And I don't want to disparage anyone. Making a video game is really hard, but that's the sad reality when it comes to indies, in my opinion. So, it's the sad reality when it comes to Ubisoft too. I was like, 2 out of 10 are great. So, that's unfortunately how I feel. But bigger news, I think, than that is that the alleged design for the PS4 Pro leaked out, and leaks suggest again that there will be an event early next month, which could happen next week.
Right.
And this thing's gonna come out this year. Like, these things are like rolling out of production. There's a leaker out there saying, yeah, I saw it. This is what it looks like. Basically, I'm gonna describe it to you. The one that I saw didn't have a disk drive, but they are calling it PS5 Pro. I'm sorry. Yeah, man. What do you think?
Well, it's ironic because I purposely made sure that we kept a record of your prediction, and you said on our episode on June 27th, you said July or August reveal of PS Pro console, PlayStation 5 Pro console arriving in stores November. Now, it seems like we're on task based on this report, that during the first half of September is when the announcement would come. So you might have been off by a month or two at max at that point when the announcement is.
I still take it.
But exactly, that's what I'm saying. Like, that's still pretty darn accurate, because if it still comes out stores in November, what you would think November or even December, it's still by the end of the year. So like that quarter part of the year. Um, I think it just makes sense. I mean, you just had Xbox last week. We were talking about doing their next iterations, and I was saying, where are you, PlayStation? This is your moment. Maybe don't announce it the next day. Don't make it look too obvious.
Right.
But but make sure that they know we've been working on this for a while, clearly, and it's time. So I expect it as well. This report makes complete sense. The white color, the two USB-C ports on it, the no disk drive, just the slim nature of it. I think it's gonna be a gorgeous console when we see it finally in its entirety, and I think it's gonna just continue to sell well. I know people just recently that I was speaking to that said, "Hey, maybe by the holidays I'll buy myself a PlayStation 5 or this." People who don't have, people who are switching or people who have their Nintendos or have their PC consoles are saying, "If I'm gonna get a console, I'm gonna add to the collection. PlayStation's the first one up,"
Yeah.
and that's very telling.
Yeah. Did you see that the PS5 went up in price in Japan?
$99 is some crazy.
$90. Yeah, it's crazy, man.
Japan don't play, bro.
Japan don't play. They're yeah. Um,
That's
I think that
supply and demand.
yeah, yeah. The timing is right on this one. If you ask me, right, unless there was a revision made to what the supposed specs for the successor of the Switch are, April of next year may be too late. That's what I'm concerned about. That by the time those things start coming out, we already have the ROG Ally and all these other portables, PC portables that are, more powerful than a PS4 Pro. And here comes the Switch with PS4 Pro specs. Although they, based on some of the specs that got out there, the Switch or whatever the next Switch is going to be will be close to a ROG Ally. They said it's like on par with the ROG Ally, which is fine. But it concerns me that it's gonna be too little, too late. That's the only concern that I have about that. Is it gonna sell well? Yes. Is it going to have longevity? I don't know. The Switch has proved me wrong, which is insane. I was watching the direct yesterday with my daughter, and she's like, "Oh, some of those games look like phone games. They don't look like Switch games." I was like,
Wow.
"Yeah, the Switch is that's the best they
Fine.
can do right now. Best I
Yeah.
can do is just graphics." Because and it's true. Like some of those games, especially during the indie, the indie section of the direct, some of the games look rough. Like the Power Wash Simulator looked like a PSP game. So I don't know, man. Speaking of, there's more again rumors of Sony trying to make a comeback on the handheld. So, and Xbox too. Like there's rumors that these guys are gonna do something. Man, I had the money for a PlayStation Portal the other day, and
You thought about
I
it.
thought about it. I thought about it. I know you thought about it too.
Oh, I've
Yeah.
thought about it multiple times.
Yeah, I thought about it, bro. But
There's actually a
know.
world where like I would get it in the right means, and they've sold me on it. Is what I'm saying.
Can you fit what are the those grips called, the ones that came out,
Backbones?
the backbones? Do those fit on iPad, or is just they're
I don't know.
I don't think
I
I
only
don't-
know the phone ones.
right. Let me see.
I don't know that it connects the same way on an iPad.
Controller
Maybe it does.
for
But you would just use
iPad.
on an iPad. You would just prop it up and connect your DualSense at that point.
Right.
You don't need to have a backbone. You
Um,
wouldn't hold your screen.
Let's see. iPhone, iPad Mini. So Razer has the Kishi that goes up into an iPad Mini.
Wow.
iPad. Yeah, the backbone. They have a
But the
USB.
thing,
Uh-huh.
The thing with the backbone that's great is that like you can use your data plan to stream games, or with the portal
Exactly.
you're
Yeah.
required to be Wi-Fi only.
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly. Man, like, cause if there be something like that, right, that would fit an iPad, I would get that
You'll be right next to the wife.
for remote play, dude. That's not. Hey, you know what?
I'm not judging. I'm just laughing. There's a use case for it.
There's a use case for everything, sir.
100%.
There's a saying out there. I'm not gonna say it because this is a family friendly podcast, sir. But there is a saying. But I am looking forward to what the new PS5 Pro would be. That's interesting. I'm looking forward for the Switch too. The Switch. I mean, it's about time. They need it. I don't know if that's gonna be necessarily a day one for me, because I'm just smiling because Duolingo is harassing me and it's making weird faces. The meme is real, guys. If you're into Duolingo, you can't escape. You can't escape. So, yeah, I'm very much looking forward to any of them right at this point. Am I gonna get a PS? I'm perfectly happy with my PS5 right now. I'm fine. I don't think that. I mean, it looks great on my TV. I don't really see a lot of problems with it, unless there's like a big game, like I don't know, if they announce the third Final Fantasy remake part, and they say, oh yeah, it runs like 4K 60 on the PS4 on the PS5 Pro, then probably. But at that point, it would be so old that it's probably not worth it. So I can deal with the 4K 30, so I'm fine. So at that point, I'll wait until whatever it is the next thing is. So, but for Nintendo, man, they need it. We need that Mario Odyssey 2. It needs to happen as soon as possible, guys. Come on, guys, give it to me right now. No, oh no, give it to me with the new Switch. How's that? I'll buy it. But Nintendo, I will buy a new Switch or whatever the next console is day one if there's a Mario Odyssey 2 with it. Like if Mario Odyssey 2 comes out the same day, I'll buy it day one. And I never buy consoles day one. So there you go. Sir, that's what we got. Let's go ahead and wrap it up.
Good show. Thank you all for staying with us on today's podcast. We want to encourage you to stay subscribed on podcast platforms of your choice, places like Spotify, SoundCloud, Amazon Music. Find us, subscribe to us. It really help us out. If you're watching the video version, please make sure you are subscribed to the No Load Time YouTube channel. We really appreciate your support, the comments, the likes, all the good stuff. Thank you so much for the support here for the show. We also want to encourage you to follow us on social media at No Load Time. That's at No Load Time, Facebook, Threads, Instagram, TikTok, X. We're out there. If you're watching the video, you'll see all those channels where we're at down below. Additionally, if you want to support our show even further, for as low as $1 a month, you can support our show on Patreon, patreon.com/no load time. That's patreon.com/no load time. For as low as $1, you could per month, you can support our show, and that would help us to continue to grow and do some new content and some new ideas and further and upgrade and do other things that we need and just cover expenses overall for our show. That we do out of our own pocket. We'd love and appreciate that support if you would kindly consider it. But if not, for free, you can do the other things. You can hit the like button. You can be subscribed. That's free support no matter what. We appreciate all levels of support no matter what it is. Last but not least, if you have a question, comment, or feedback, you can send an email to noloadtime@gmail.com. That's noloadtime@gmail.com. And possibly we'll even answer your question on the show, unless you confuse us to be developers for a game we didn't make, which that situation, we just told people, hey, sorry, we can't help you there. But thank you all so much for being with us on the show. We look forward to being with you guys next time.
Thank you, guys. Stay safe. We will see you again next time.